Hello comrades, and welcome to another update on the Izyum counteroffensive. I don't think I need to go on the bigger picture because now we are all familiar with what's going on. So generally the situation here is that the Ukrainians engaged in a counteroffensive from three directions. The first one is from the northwest, and one from the west, and finally one from the southwest. So the situation is that on the first 2 days, the Ukrainians managed to cross the river into Balaklia and essentially cut off the escape. However, Russian reinforcements arrived to save the troops who were encircled, and they managed to fight through and retreat from the city. At the same time, further up north, the Ukrainians had massive success capturing Vyar and then advancing northwest to Shevchenkova, as well as south to Vishneva. While at the same time, they decided to go on a road trip across this whole area and reach Sinkove, and they divulged into two parts where the other one went to Hrushivka. So the situation right now is that the Ukrainians managed to capture Sinkove and surrounding villages on the way, but they are still bogged down at Hrushivka as Russian Air Force is focusing on this area to prevent any advances towards Kupiansk, which is the most important city in this area. While in Shevchenkove, the Ukrainians have managed to mostly encircle the forces here and are fighting heavy battles inside the city. And there is little reports about what is happening there as the fighting is very heavy. While here in the south, the Ukrainians managed to attack the Russians in this southern area, where they have captured Saliman on the west bank of the river, and they are now fighting from two sides to try and take over this area and cut into Vesele, which will allow the Ukrainians to control this choke point and consolidate this whole area. However, if the Russians keep control of Vesele, they will be able to launch a counterattack westwards and northwards when they have figured out what their plan is. So that's the current situation. So the current goals of the Ukrainian forces is one, to cross this river, the Oski River, to cut off completely supply to Izyum from the northern side. They have little options of supply from the east, but they still have that. However, this will cut off their main supply route, which includes train tracks from Belgorod. So it will seriously hamper the Russian supplies to Izyum. And it will operationally encircle Izyum. So that's their aim right now, to take Kupiansk and pass through this river. Here in the northern side, the situation is somewhat stable as the Russian Air Force is focusing on this area. However, the Ukrainians have met success around Sinkeve. In the south, the Ukrainians decided to start a second front where they are now attacking from Velika Komyush. In the southern side, the Ukrainians decided to start another front where they are attacking Velika Komyushuvakha, and they are trying to advance towards another Andrivka and attack Izyum from the southern side. With this, they are able to attack Izyum from the north and the south, essentially cutting off the village, completely encircling the city, and being able to attack it without having to cross the river. The reason why the Russian defenses at the river did not work is that due to older satellite images, we are not seeing the current situation on the actual situation on these rivers. However, the current situation is that these rivers are very shallow, and the Russians reported that the Ukrainians were able to cross them without using any pontoon bridges. They could just drive through them. So that means that these rivers were completely useless as a defensive line and essentially let them just cross over as they wanted to, which means that the Russian plan failed, which is why we saw a massive retreat towards the east. However, with the Ukrainians in this battle being NATO trained and NATO equipped soldiers, they were able to outmaneuver or match the maneuverability of the Russian army, meaning that they were able to essentially consolidate their efforts and be able to outrun the Russians, as the Russians weren't able to retreat in a timely manner. So the failure of the Russian army in this situation is that they weren't prepared for the invasion, and their air force was inadequate to stop the Ukrainian offensive. Also, their inadequate ability to set up secondary defensive lines according to the terrain and the situation on the ground, where we see that in these areas around Shevenkove and Hrushivka, they are still able to hold. However, that is purely because of their air superiority. If the Ukrainians had air support, they would be able to capture these as well and completely cut off Izyum. So what the Russians need to do now is to conduct a counter-offensive through these roads. As the current weather forecast says, there will be a lot of rain in the coming days, meaning that most of the ground will be muddy. So all the roads are connected to Volokhiv Yar. If they capture Volokhiv Yar, they are able to essentially cut off this whole salient of the Ukrainian forces. And the Ukrainians' goal should be to capture Kupiansk before the next Monday, as that is when the rain starts. If they do succeed on that, they will be able to encircle Izyum, and they will be able to conduct offensives from the north. An important part is also to take over Vesele, which will allow them to control the choke point, in which the Russians will definitely use to conduct a counteroffensive from the south from Izyum. So that's the situation right now. So again, as I was uploading this video, a new report came in that Shevchenkove has been taken by the Ukrainians. This means that they are able to push northwards or attack from the west towards the northern area, towards Chervone Khvelia. And there are reports that the Ukrainians have actually started the shelling of this town, which means and indicates that they are probably planning an offensive to the north, where they can consolidate their forces and push towards Kupiansk from the northern side as well, completely cutting off this whole area from the Russian control and avoiding any future reinforcements to this area from Russia itself. So far it looks like Ukrainians are succeeding with this counteroffensive, and that the Russians have completely been outdone by the Ukrainian army, and that the current situation is heavily in favor of the Ukrainians. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Also a quick reminder, because some people seem to not understand, I am neutral, I am analyzing the situation. If you don't like that, then you can go watch someone else. Denis Davidov has a great following, you can go keep watching him. Anyways, that's it for this update. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and have a great day.